Hello everyone, my name is Jung Gang. In this presentation, I am presenting our work titled Ultra-Wideband Aided UAV Positioning using Incremental Smoothing with ranges and multilaterals. The table of contents of this presentation is as follows. Introductions. Recent advances in technology for UAV such as quadcopter have facilitated the application of UAV for inspecting and monitoring infrastructures. In these applications, UAV positioning is the critical capability for performing essential tasks such as mapping and navigation. The challenges rise in positioning in GNS denied environment, such as indoor space and under the bridges. An emerging solution for positioning in GNS denied environment is to use ultra-wideband sensors as an alternative to GNS. The UWB sensors can form a radio frequency-based sensor network where some sensor modules are placed as anchors and one module is attached as a tag to the vehicle. In this configuration, by leveraging time-of-flight techniques, the UWB tag can get ranges between the tag and each anchor in a round-robin manner. Moreover, the large bandwidth of UWB signal makes it robust to multipath and non-line of sight cases, and thus a range can be obtained up to a few hundred meters with centimeter level accuracy. Because of this strong point, UWB sensors have gained popularity as a positioning sensor in GNS denied environments. Positioning of UAV using UWB sensors has been often addressed as a problem of estimating 3D position of UAV from UWB ranges and additional inertial measurement. To tackle the estimation problem, the extended Kalman filter has been widely used in many works. In addition to the filtering-based method, some recent works have presented smoothing-based approaches in which the estimation problem is dealt with the graph optimization. These existing methods estimate the 3D position of UAV by updating a solution for each single 1D low-dimensional UWB range measurement. Here, we point out that a low-dimensional single-range measurement just acts as a weak constraint in a solution space for the UAV position estimation, and thus it can often lead to incorrect estimation in unfavorable conditions. Meanwhile, like other anchor-based systems such as GNS, multilateration can be applied to the UWB system. Although the multilateration is only applicable to a set of range data that meets certain conditions, the multilateration directly produces the 3D position of UAV. Our work was inspired by the idea that the multilateration outcome can be utilized as a measurement providing directly 3D position of UAV, which is a strong hint for the position in the filtering or smoothing approaches. It means that the multilateration outcome can be used as a strong constraint in a solution space for finding a solution. I described the overview of the proposed system. In this work, we propose a method for ultra-wideband aided UAV positioning. Compared to the existing works heavily rely on single UWB range measurement, we propose an approach utilizing two types of UWB-based measurement. The first, single 1D range as a high rate measurement, acting as a weak constraint in a solution space. And second, 3D multilateration outcomes as a low rate measurement, acting as a strong constraint. Based on this motivation, we propose an incremental smoothing approach that seamlessly integrate two types of UWB measurements and inertial measurements into a unified framework using a vector graph. We also propose a novel method named add after eliminating strategy for adding multiplication outcomes into a graph for online operations. This figure shows the overall description of the proposed system. In our system, we suppose that at least 4 UWB anchors are placed at each different fixed position, and the position of each anchor is assumed to be known in advance in the UWB anchor frame. We get sensor data from the UWB tag and IMU installed on the UAV. Given this sensor data, UAV positioning is done by the three parts. The first, sensor data management, and the second part is the measurement management part, and the third one is the incremental smoothing parts. Let me describe each part one by one. As a sensor data, we get UWB range data and IMU data. The first, we get range data between UWB tag and UWB anchors in a round-robin manner. That is, a range between the tag and each anchor is acquired alternately. When it comes to the IMU data, we get several kinds of data, including linear acceleration, angular velocity, and optionally height. In the sensor data management part, low UWB range data is stored in the queue named low UWB data queue, where the queue stores the low UWB data for each anchor over multiple frames, from the past frame to the current frame. Then outliers in the low UWB data are filtered out by the outlier filtering method. Given a newly incoming range data, we get range variation between a pair of two consecutive data in a temporal slide window. If it has a large variation in the temporal sections, as shown in this figure, we consider the range data as an outlier and discard it. Then finally, the filtered UWB data and IMU data are stored in another queue named UWB-IMU data queue. This is about the measurement management parts. From the sensor data in the UWB and IMU data queue, measurements are basically generated by inertial measurement, providing a relative motion between time steps, and single UWB ranges, providing a distance between the UWB tag and a certain UWB anchor. Moreover, in our work, multilateration outcomes are also used as a measurement. For multilateration algorithm, we extended an algebraic solution method to a method with nonlinear optimization. To run the multilateration, a set of range data should be ideally acquired at the same time. However, in our case, as a set of range data cannot be acquired at the exact same time, we use a set of the data acquired within a short interval of time. To estimate the 3D position of UAV, we adapted the vector graph-based incremental smoothing framework, as it can handle asynchronous sensor measurement having different frequency, and it can also easily accommodate the addition of a new type of measurement. In the vector graph framework, we construct the vector graph encoding the connectivity between state to be estimated and available measurements. A node represents a state to be estimated, including the UAV position, on edges indicate the vector where the vector can be created from each measurement. Here, we define the multilateration vector to use the multilateration outcome as a measurement. Then we can obtain the optimal state using ISAM2, which is incremental inference algorithm. The figure here shows the vector graph representation of the proposed algorithm. We have the state variables over time, including UAV positions, orientation, velocity of the UAV, and biases for the IMU. We use the three types of vectors for inertial measurement, single UWB ranges, and multilateration-based position. However, when we add the multilateration vector to the graph in online operation, we need a special treatment for that. For a newly incoming range data stored in the UWB-IMU data queue, we decide if the multilateration can be applied by checking if a set of range data, including the new range data, is acquired within a certain short time interval. If the multilateration cannot be applied, then a range vector for the newly incoming range is simply created and added to the graph. On the other hand, if the multilateration can be applied, a multilateration vector is created. However, if the multilateration vector is just added to the graph, it leads to the violation of the vector graph condition that all vectors should be independent, because ranges from other anchors used for multilateration were already utilized for range vectors. To overcome the above issue, we propose a method named add after eliminating strategy for adding the multilateration vector into the graph without the violation of the vector graph condition. In this strategy, given the multilateration outcome, range factors and IMU factors related to ranges for the multilateration are eliminated in the graph, and then multilateration factors and newly created IMU factors are added to the graph. By this strategy, all factors can keep independence. I'm describing the experimental results. Here, we describe our UAB system and experimental setup. Our UAB system is built on DJI Matrix 100 quadcopters. At the bottom of the UAB, we install the Intel NUC, a UWB tag, and a battery as payload. In addition, at the center bottom of the UAB, we attach the prism for obtaining the ground truth position of the vehicle. As a UWB sensor, we used a total of 5 time domain person 440 UWB modules. Among them, one module was used as a UWB tag installed on the UAV, and other 4 modules were used as a UWB anchors. We conducted the experiment in a completely GNS denied cuboid shaped indoor space. In addition, in order to obtain the ground truth position of the UAV, we used the Leica multi-station as a prism tracker and tracked the prism attached on the UAV using the automatic target recognition functionality of the multi-station. In the given environment, we acquired a total 5 sets by manually driving the UAV. The trajectory of each set are presented in the figure here, and acquired data set is summarized in this table. This video shows the ground truth trajectory and UAV position estimated by the proposed method. For the comparison study, we also added the baseline method that uses only 2 factors for single ranges and inertial measurement, without the use of factors for the multilaterals. A full video is available at our GitHub site. This table presents the mean absolute errors for the baseline and proposed positioning method. And this table shows the multilateration result. We ran the multilateration only when a set of 4 range data is acquired within 0.1 second. As indicated in this table, the proposed method was slightly better than the baseline one in the first 4 sets. However, a clear distinction between the proposed method and the baseline in terms of accuracy can be seen in set 5. That is the most challenging set due to its long operation time and distance traveled with large motion changes. The baseline method failed correct estimation in the section with large motion changes, while the proposed method could work properly even under such a challenging section by means of the integration of multilateration in the estimation. From this experiment, we could see that the integration of multilateration outcomes helped produce better results in terms of accuracy and robustness. Conclusions. We propose the incremental smoothing-based method that seamlessly integrates the 2 types of UWB-based measurement and inertial measurement into a unified factor graph framework. In the proposed method, beside each single range as a high rate measurement, we also use the multilateration outcome as a low rate measurement, acting as a strong constraint in a solution space. Moreover, we also presented online operation strategy for adding the multilateration factor into a graph without the violation of the factor graph conditions. However, there are several issues that we need to address for further development. The first, the problem of properly setting values of the uncertainty for the multilateration factor has not yet been fully addressed. We need to further develop a method for determining the uncertainty value more precisely, taking account of factors, for example, the delusion of precision, which can affect the uncertainty of multilateration outcomes. In addition, we also need to further validate the proposed method through more extensive experiment in various environments. Recently, we have released our UWB-Aided data acquired in various environments, and we will test our algorithm with this data. Thank you for listening.